Hello, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I'm here with my friend and co host, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. And we are here for Tech Life Weekly. I want to welcome everybody listening on Clubhouse and those of you watching live and on the replay. I want to thank you for your time as we delve into the world of tech. And we always like to get started with this day in tech history, this week in tech history. So I'm going to move Francine into the speaker's box and we're going to get this day started. How are you doing, Fran?
I am doing really, really well. And everybody who is watching live and on the replay, welcome, welcome. Everybody coming into the clubhouse. We got Dr. Tachi and then Elena. I think I pronounced that right. Welcome. Okay, let's start some tech history. Woo. Man, there's so much. Where do I want to begin? All right, so we're gonna do a little space travel. The first man in space, April 12th, 1961, Yuri Gagarin, age 27, becomes the first man to orbit the Earth aboard the Soviet spacecraft Vostok 1. He remains in space for an hour and 48 minutes after re-entering the atmosphere. This ultimately was Gagarin's only space flight. And he died March 27, 1968, when the MiG-15 he was piloting crashed near Moscow. Reportedly, at the time of his death, he was in training for a second space mission. That's April 12, 1961. And then April 12, 1981, NASA launches the first space shuttle mission, STS-1, sending the Columbia on its maiden voyage. This mission intended to prove the feasibility of space shuttles in specific and reusable spacecraft in general. Originally set to launch on April 10th, problems delayed the launch by 2 days, which caused the launch to occur exactly 20 years after Yuri Gagarin became the first man to fly into space.
Interesting.
So now we're going to move into the Titanic could have been worse. April 14th, 1912, the RMS Titanic strikes an iceberg 4 days into its maiden voyage. Over 1,500 passengers drown when the ship sinks early the next morning. The Marconi wireless equipment on board is used to call for help, effectively saving 700 people. It was stated that those who have been saved through one man, Mr. Marconi, and his wonderful invention.
Wow.
Let's see. April 14th, 1981, the first test flight of the first operational space shuttle, the Columbia, ends successfully as the orbiter lands at Edwards Air Force Base in California. And April 15th, 1892, the General Electric Company, GE, is founded. It was formed by the merger of Edison General Electric, started by Thomas Edison in 1890, and the Thomson Houston Electric Company. GE was one of the original 12 companies listed on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and in 2010 was ranked by Forbes as the world's second largest company. All right. PC Industry was born April 15th, 1977. The first annual West Coast Computer Fair is held over 3 days in San Francisco, California, attended by 12,750 people. The fair features a debut of the Apple II computer, which features a 16 kilobyte memory. Wow. BASIC, a built-in keyboard, 8 expansion slots, and built-in high-resolution color graphics. Many credit this event and the launch of the Apple II as giving birth to the personal computer industry. And that is your week in tech history.
All righty. Well, then, let me give you a couple of stimulating conversation starters.
Uh-oh.
I want to start with this about, do you remember when we had the article several years ago about chip implants in humans?
Yeah, we've been, yes.
Okay, well there's an article I want to share with you from the BBC. Let's see here. Get my tab up here about microchip implants. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so hold on because I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. Do you see this guy who has the
The screw on the
on his
outside of his hand. Yes.
balancing on his fingertip? It's because he has moved on. He calls himself a biohacker. He's in the Netherlands. His name is Paul Berman. Paul Perman, pardon me, P as in Paul, Aumen, describes himself as a biohacker. That's someone who puts pieces of technology into their body to try to improve their performance. He has 32 implants in total, including chips to open doors and embedded magnets. Quote, he says, technology keeps evolving, so I keep collecting more. He says, my implants augment my body. I wouldn't want to live without them. There will always be people who don't want to modify their body. We should respect that, and they should respect us as biohackers. Now, I was familiar with this contactless payment chip that people had put in their bodies. And I'm going to scroll up so you might get a little dizzy. Let me know if I'm going too fast. Can you see it scrolling?
It's moving.
Okay. So you can see where this little small chip is in the hand. And then also here, how it works. You can see the device, and it actually lights up when he or she waves her hand over the payment um, terminal. You know how when we check out, we use our
Mm-hmm.
chip on our card. It's a card reader. And so I ah here she is paying with her hand. You see that over the chip reader instead of using a card. Woman paying for a meal at a cafe using a contactless payment chip implanted in her hand. So my
Not
question so my question is, what do you guys think about these contactless payment options that are bio implanted? Uh, would you want to be a biohacker?
If I may.
Yes,
Yes.
please do.
Good morning, by the way.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. How you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. This has gotten my fire working. So let's pretend, by some happenstance, that an international spy kidnaps
Mhm.
so that
Mhm.
they can make you take out money from your account or pay for things. There's no running away from that. You know what I'm saying? I think it's way too. Why do you need something implanted in you in order to do that? That's just one more step to control by
Mm-hmm.
other entities, if you ask me. If
Mhm.
that's what you want to do, that's fine. I don't think that's a good option or even a safe option. And let's look at, you think you also are going to be healthy forever. Pretend you had to have a pacemaker put in. You can't be by any magnets or microwaves or any of that. So what does that mean then? You have to take all that shrapnel out of you that you put in? So
I would I would think so.
They are doing the most. I'm
Okay,
like, come on, guys.
this article says that um, its implants are aimed at people with disabilities who can use chips to automatically open doors. If they have sensory issues, they be able to the magnets help them pick up things. Um, but I'm with you. I would not sign up for this.
my thing is it rarely stops with who it's supposed to be, who it's intended.
Yes.
It always starts off nice with sunshines and rabbits, and then it quickly turns to everything.
Right, because there's no control. It's just like with certain things, you got to trust that the people who made it correctly, and that there was no human error when they did it. Whoops! Like the batteries that exploded in the phones.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
were issues.
Mm-hmm.
The phone is supposed to work, but then the battery explodes. So now they have to pull that back out. So there's little errors in it. It's not science. Humans are not perfect, but yet they want to try to perfect something they didn't create in the first place.
So the first implant was implanted in 1998. Nevertheless, I don't know. I just don't want to be tracked like that. And and what happens when war takes place and they want to track prisoners of war?
What if they want to take everybody out and somebody just push a button? Come on.
Yeah, I don't know how much control it gives the person who has, control of the chip. Okay.
But see, right now I was watching some movie on, what channel was I watching? It was
I know you're into science fiction. I know this is
so I was
taking you
watching this
somewhere
movie,
really crazy.
and it was called Delete. Where these computer people, they created this computer. Well, they created a computer program that it was AI, and so it was machine learning, and got smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter, and still it started taking out people that was trying to stop it.
Because they were smart enough to know they were trying to be stopped, and they weren't having.
So, but the thing was that, they held this one dude hostage to make him do what he wanted to do, because his little girl had a pacemaker in there, and they could control, wirelessly control the pacemaker. Wow. I'm like, okay, I'm good with all of that.
So I want to talk a little bit about that, because we know that there's a dark side to this that we really don't even want to think about. You know what I mean?
Well, you have to consider everything. Dr. Tachi, did you want to weigh in on something? Because you looked like your little thing was.
Oh, that's the normal look on my face. Anyway, no, I was just kind of clapping along. But yeah, there are a lot of things that we think that science fiction is fiction. But these things come up because they're possible, and we've made a lot of things possible. I think we also have to look at the ethical end of it as well. Simply because you can do it, should you do it? And I understand they're looking at it from the standpoint of trying to assist people who may have, who are differently able. I understand that. But then it always gets into the hands, as we said, of some diabolical force trying to take over the world. So we need to look at the ethical implications of these things as well.
Yeah.
Yes, and they do have a paragraph in here in this article. It says there's a dark side to the technology that has a potential for abuse. I'm just going to stop with that one sentence right there. Okay.
Oh, yeah, and we know this because it's the people who have access to the tech. You're depending on these people to be good, do good with what they do. Not everybody is like that. So
yeah, who owns the data, who has access to the data, and is it ethical to chip people like you do pets? I don't think that's ethical, but you got some people who are willing to volunteer to be chipped because they don't want to take out their credit card, I guess. I don't know what to do. Or wave their phone over something. I don't know.
And see, here's the thing. You don't even have to put it within you for things to be that convenient. Exactly. Like with the car, I can get in my car and just have the key in my pocket and it unlocks the door. It doesn't need to be in my hand
Exactly.
to unlock the
You don't
door.
have to go in your purse. Mhm.
Go
So,
ahead.
so
That's
go
also
ahead, Doc.
Go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
it's also a scary prospect, because do you really want your financial information that close at hand? That all you have to do is walk by something, and there's already the people who are able to scan and read through certain things when they have those wallets. Imagine that as a chip there. Now, granted, you can say, oh, but you have to have a number, you have to have this. Still, you have to have that now. And people have found a way to scam.
Right.
Let alone being on you where they can easily probably scan it.
And what prevents them from chopping off your hand and rolling with
Jesus.
Especially if they know that you are wealthy. I mean, now you got some other stuff going on here. So that's that.
But it really needs to be, if you're thinking about it, you need to really think about it. What could be the end results? You in critical thinking, you're supposed to think about every possibility.
Every scenario.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So we're going to let that marinate. And then I was looking at an article talking about several devices that are designed to make us happier and healthier. So let me find that article here and share the screen. Okay. They want you to know that seniors are those 50 and older in the U.S. are generating $7.6 trillion in economic activity. In other words, we want to go places, we want to have experiences, and it's starting to sound like they're taking on the characteristics of the millennials. Now they are coming into economic freedom. At any rate, there are several devices to help with this aging process. So one of them is here is a result of what they call Embodied Labs. And Embodied Labs has come up with, let's see, what is their little thing? She said, oh, they've come up with a simulated game that works with virtual reality glasses to let younger people experience what people who are aging and through different, what would you call it, diseases such as macular degeneration, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's disease. It allows them to go through this virtual world in that state so that they can become more empathetic to those who are suffering from these conditions. I thought that was interesting. And they're funded by the Bill Gates and Melinda Foundation, AAPR, etc. Now, the intuition robotics. Now, Fran, we saw this. See this little robot? I wanted to show you this little thing here.
Before you move on to that section, Dr. Tachi, you.
Yeah, no, this is interesting that you say that, because I always thought, well, what if they used VR for other people to gain empathy for things? So yeah, for these ailments. But I was like, they need to put them in like the bottom of a slave ship or something like that, or have so that you really
get what
people were going through.
Right.
And somebody said, oh, well, what would be the psychological? I said, what would be the psychological implications of all the people who've gone through the Holocaust and slavery? What's happening now? So don't talk to me about psychological implications. So,
right, because people really need to understand what it was about. It's kind of like in an amusement park, there's the rides. They give you a simulation of what it was like to go to space, or what it was like to go under the ocean, or whatever. So if this is a rides in history, okay. So you can take a ride and feel what it's really like to have lived through that. People will probably change their minds about a lot of things.
It would make people a little more empathetic and to understand the long-term impact. Look, you were only in there 4 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And you freaked out. Okay, so yeah, I can see where that would be helpful for creating empathy.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So this next article shows a little robot, if you can see it right there, with a ring on it. And what this device does is it interacts with the patient and might say, "Oh, the weather's fine. Why don't we take a walk?" It gives them suggestions. It talks to them so that they stay connected with the inside world and the outside world. And it may even show pictures of relatives, allow the relatives to send pictures. So now you're not going through a third party, you're going directly to the individual through this device. Um, and I thought that was interesting that this is available to help people stay connected. So let me read some of the description of what's going on here. It says, it says good morning in 117 different ways, so that it's not boring. And it says it plans to be shipping this product in September. It may, for example, check the weather, determine if it's pleasant, then ask whether the senior wants to go for a walk. Loved ones can interact with LEQ as well, sending photographs through the app that the senior can see and respond to via a video screen. So I just thought that I like the form factor of this device. It's modern looking, Dr. Tachi. It's not clunky looking. We saw remember Felix the cat, Fran? In China, they had a similar device, but it was for just general companionship, for like singles. This and it looked like Felix the cat, and the eyes followed you around the room. It was real creepy. This just looks like a artificial intelligence device, and it looks slick and modern. So I think it would be something that people could connect to. So this is supposed to be helpful. Then ageless innovation. Remember the pet dog? He was for companionship. Let me back up. Ageless innovation. While working for Hasbro, this group came up with this pet that was supposed to help kids connect with animals through play with these robotic pets. Okay. But what they found was that it was more adapted by seniors. They're able to pet the pet, and the pet reacts. They can hear the heartbeat. The cat has like maybe 32 different ways it purrs and rolls on its tummy. And so it was really like interacting with a real pet. And so seniors took to them, and they began to buy them and sort of have them around for like comfort pets. It says robotic cats and pups have sensors that allow them to interact with a human companion as they would with a live pet. The cat responds to touch, rolls over, and utters 32 different types of purring sounds. The pup's heart slows down if a hand is placed on its back. Now the cat sells for $99 and the dog sells for $119.
Okay, not understanding the disparity between the prices, but I can see where this would be good because you don't have the cat lady syndrome going on where there's a bunch of cats in the house and there's no cleanup.
Yes. And expense of feeding the animal. Yeah, I definitely can get to that. Not having to clean up after a pet when you're aging. Hmm.
It's not
So
bad.
I thought it was cute, and they've sold over 150,000 of these. Um, so it's really something that people want to connect with. So I thought I'd share those couple of items with you today to let you know that technology is being used to help people um, feel
Better.
connected, comforted, yeah, and all around um, mentally healthier.
And I'm for technology to help you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
just don't think it should be in your skin, but the to helping you feel better.
And
Out from
I
the
want you to know
outside.
there's a company that has adopted a watch that doesn't do anything but monitor whether or not you fall. Remember the things that went around your neck? You know, I've fallen and I can't get up. Well, they
Mhm.
found that people didn't want to wear them because they felt stigmatized by having this big, well, not big, but having the lanyard around their neck where everybody could see it. So they switched to a watch, and people tend to wear it more. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It's not invasive and it's not as
I have a
noticeable.
I have a question. Does it tell time?
I think it's only about monitoring. Let's see, a cloud-based platform improves the health wellness, and it tracks your vital signs. And if you fall, that's all it does, and it will call an emergency, just like the monitor around the neck did, the lanyard did. So no, it does not tell time. It's just all about health.
And how much is it?
Did they say how much it was? It's okay. It comes with a monthly prescription subscription because you're paying for the emergency services, whatever. There's a monthly subscription charge ranging from $25 to $50 a month, including hardware. So I guess that's you're renting the watch. The cost may now be reimbursable through Medicare.
It should tell time. I'm just saying if it's
I mean, it
on
might as well. I mean, what would it cost for them to put the time on there? I don't
and because your mostly Fitbits and Apple Watches and
know.
things of
Uh-huh.
that nature do the same
Do the
thing,
same. Yes, they do.
but there's not a monthly fee associated
Mhm.
with those items. They will. I know the Apple Watch will call 911
Oh
for you.
yeah, yes. You touch it the wrong way, it'll be calling. You'll be like, "What is going on?" So
Right.
I want to stop sharing.
Really interesting. Yeah. And sometimes, sometimes the things that they create for seniors,
Hmm.
um, I think sometimes they are a bit taken advantage of.
Yeah, when they could have a lot more services through a different type of device, and
Right.
also I think too because they come in so low with the cost of the hardware, but then the service is what they're getting you on. Because it
Correct.
costs only nothing to make a plastic watch,
Right.
essentially
And
with
and it's
with limited functions. Hmm.
and it was the same way with the phone when the lady told us, "Well, I got to go home and so I can call you from my landline." I'm like, "Excuse me?" "Oh, because
Hmm.
I have to, I only have a certain amount of minutes." I'm like, "Minutes? What are you talking about, minutes?" And this service was promoted by one of the large senior uh,
Advocates.
advocate things. And I was
Hmm.
like, why are we paying that much money for phones? You don't have minutes anymore.
Hmm.
And then there was no storage space to take for them to take
You
pictures like
couldn't take a picture. It was just crazy. But it was only costing like $10 a month. However,
you wasn't getting anything for $10 a month. And
mm-mm,
if you went over your minutes, then it was another
they
upcharge.
started
It's another
charging.
set
It was
of
a
stuff.
surcharge, and so they couldn't get texts from the church. Remember, don't
Right.
text me, don't text me, because it was costing them money every time a text came in.
It was weird. I was like, how is this helpful? they were being, I really don't, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it wasn't helpful. And they were in the business to be helpful. They were in the business to make money.
Yeah.
Pretending that they were being helpful.
Oh, perpetrate?
It was kind of helpful.
Right. And you would think that, no, see, and that's why biohacking is not going to work, because we still have those type of people who are going to try and game the system. Well, if we only give them, we only turn it on at a certain time, then, we'll have to charge them to make sure their pacemaker works through the night. You'll have to pay us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrible.
But they would do something that weird.
Wow. Whew. So
yes. And so I have TJ's stories, her articles for today.
Alrighty.
All right. So we're going to hit some social media news this week. I'm standing in for TJ. And it says we're going to start with WhatsApp. WhatsApp is to launch communities, which is more structured group chats with admin controls. WhatsApp will start experimenting with communities. Communities will allow people to combine separate group chats under one umbrella with a structure that works for them. WhatsApp wrote in a blog post that way people can receive updates sent to the entire community and easily organize smaller discussion groups on what matters to them. The company hasn't shared details around exactly how these groups will be formed, but a spokesperson said the idea is to give close-knit groups more ways to communicate beyond the chat features currently offered by WhatsApp. The company will start testing the feature later this year in select countries, but will eventually make it available globally. So is that like Discord?
It sounds like what they're doing is trying to get the groups to interact so you can cross-pollinate groups. Like if you're all talking about, it's sort of like Twitter. If you're all talking about one subject, maybe you want to connect with other groups and be able to talk to people in that group and build a community, a bigger community around that topic.
Okay. I'm not a WhatsApp fan, so
I'm not either. So but when I read the article, that was the impression I got. They're going to connect groups within the app. So let me see if Dr. Tachi can relate to this. It's sort of like having chapters in a sorority. Now you can all chat with each other because you're around the same subject.
How nice.
Can you relate to that? That's all you need is a 24/7 boule. Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's why I said how nice.
Yeah.
I think though this is interesting. I'm not a huge WhatsApp user, but I do use it because most of my family is overseas, and I have a lot of people that I communicate with overseas. Even though I'm moving more towards Signal and Telegram, but the WhatsApp that could have implications for people internationally and that keep in contact that way. So that could be interesting in that sense.
Okay, and I think that's why they might be going that way for the people who do use it, because they're not talking to me.
Okay. All right. What's next?
Spotify adds live audio programs and rebrands Green Room as Spotify Live. Dr. Tachi, remember when Green Room? Okay. Green Room was mainly for sports. It was a kind of like Clubhouse for sports, or was that Locker Room? Anyway, Spotify is rebranding its Green Room Locker Room, and Spotify is rebranding its Green Room Live audio app as Spotify Live, and will bring its features into the main Spotify app, the company announced on Tuesday. Spotify Live will be available as both a standalone app and a live stream feature in the main app. At present, the main app will include select live content from original programming, and the standalone Spotify Live app will be open to all independent creators.
Mm.
Listeners will be able to tune in to live programming on Spotify via the Creators Podcast or Artist page. And if they want to participate in the chat or join the host on stage, they can head to the Spotify Live app to do so, according to a blog post on the company's website.
Okay.
Well, they had to do something. It was, of course, when it debuted as Green Room, everybody was over there. But what they failed to realize is that there was already a burgeoning community on Locker Room. And then what you did is you just kind of, what happened is it got infiltrated with a whole bunch of Clubhouse people who thought Locker Room, or this now Green Room, was like Clubhouse. And everybody's like, well, no, we do things differently over here. It's kind of like the blended family thing. So it's not a new app. You've just blended these two families and nobody had any debriefings or how things work over here or any of that. Spotify just saw dollar signs that they were trying to compete with Clubhouse. So they needed to do something. So maybe they're thinking this rebrand will refresh, but we still remember the wahala that happened when you first became Green Room.
Why didn't they give us family counseling? I don't understand. They knew it was going to be traumatic to blend these families.
Well, they didn't give us any instruction or any
family counseling.
No family counseling, no nothing. Just throw all y'all together.
And here you are. That's the stuff land where it may. Wow.
Yes. So I went over to Green Room and I was like, okay, I need to get out of here because I don't understand it. I didn't understand the dynamics, and I was like, okay, it's not working. I understood Clubhouse. For whatever reason, it was easier to understand for me. It was easier to, okay. And you come over here and you look around. It wasn't difficult to walk around, if for lack of a better word, walk around and take a look and see what's going on, because you could kind of sit back and look at the rooms and see what rooms you're interested in or whatever. But Green Room was totally not that easy.
You know what else? Beyond the interface, there was also, when Green Room debuted, a whole lot of people that were thinking the diamonds that you collect were eventually going to be worth something. So all you had were these rooms where people were collecting diamonds. I went in a few of them, they're like, okay, come on, let's hit those diamonds. So I'm like, really? This is not a video game. So, there's nothing. The diamonds were supposed to be to give, I guess, homage or, thanks to if somebody gave some good information. But people, I guess, from Clubhouse or whatever saw them as, now we can collect them and we might get paid for it. So that was another problem that was a turnoff.
Right. And it's kind of like the heart system in when you are live, you can tap the hearts for something. And I'm like, okay.
Periscope. Like Periscope.
Yeah, Periscope did that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, okay. So I guess that people would keep talking about it, or yes, we really like what you're saying, but that's the diamonds had the opposite effect.
Oh.
All right. So our next story is about TikTok. TikTok is testing a dislike button in comments, but users won't know if their comment has been disliked.
Oh.
TikTok is testing a way for users to dislike comments in an effort to help people feel more in control over what they're seeing. TikTok hasn't provided any details about exactly how the feature will work or what it looks like. Some users who appear to be a part of the test have shared screenshots on Twitter of a thumbs down button appearing next to the heart in the video's comment section.
Mm-hmm.
The company did specify that individual users will have no way of knowing if their comment has been disliked.
Mm-hmm.
So So pretty much, that's for. I'm trying to see how this works. So the person who made the comment doesn't see that it was disliked.
So if I say something and you don't like it, you can put a dislike thing there, and then what happens? I don't know.
They
But
don't
the
know.
company knows. And I think what they're trying to do is gauge what should they be monitoring. If there's enough dislikes, maybe something's going on over there. Maybe we need to go over there and direct traffic.
Okay, they don't know and we don't know. And so they just took our time to tell us that they didn't know what they
But
were
they
talking
they
about.
don't know how they're going to use it.
So that is what Terry TJ sent over for social media news this week. Dr. Tachi, you are up.
Oh,
Oh, well.
1 minute from Beverly. Oh, TikTok picking up Facebook petty ways.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
Beverly. Thank you.
It's like, what was that for? Yeah, some people. Yeah.
What they're trying to do is get us to self-monitor in the background, and they don't want
Whatever.
us to be bullied if we.
That just did not make sense to me.
At all.
Okay.
Yeah, they sure are the being Petty Davis or Petty White. So here we go. Welcome everyone. This is going to be a rundown of some of the things we talked about. Can you all hear me properly?
Mm-hmm.
I can hear you.
Hear you well. Thank you.
Okay, good. Just making sure. So this is going to be a recap of some of the things we talked on in terms of media scope, and also some other things. So I just wanted to give you, I'm hitting everybody over the head with this NAB show. This is the place to be if you are interested in media technology, and entertainment. You want to be in Vegas, April 24th through the 27th. It is going to be fantastic. I unfortunately won't be there this year, but one of our friends, Carlos Phoenix, will be there. He's going to have a booth for his company. I think it's called Live Streaming Masters.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So they are going to be premiering the YOLO box. So if you happen to be out there, stop by his booth and say hello and tell him the Biz Chicks and Mediascope sent you. And so I have a code. The code that I gave last week, obviously, I said it was just till April 8th, and that was courtesy of Panasonic. But we have another code for you to get a free exhibits pass.
Okay.
M as in Mary, P as in Paul, 0 and 7. So MP07. And you get a free exhibits pass, which gives you access to a lot of things. You get access to the show floor. You get access to all the sessions that happen on the show floor. There's a lot of networking. It's really great. And why would you not want that for free? So if you happen to be in Las Vegas, near Las Vegas, or want to travel to Las Vegas, it's a great time. So all you have to do is go to nabshow.com. And when you register at checkout, put in the code MP07. You're going to check Exhibits Pass and then put in MP07. You get to go for free. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, moving on to some more in terms of entertainment. I'm sure you all heard about this. Comedian and actor Gilbert Godfrey has passed away at the age of 67. So if you don't remember, he's the comedian that has that really loud, screeching voice. That was kind of his shtick. That was his thing. So he had a long illness, and I didn't even know he was sick.
I didn't know. I didn't either.
No,
And I think people would know him. He was the voice of Affleck he was the duck.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Affleck, yeah, I'm not going to do it, but yeah, so he was the voice of Affleck. He did a lot of voiceover in commercials and cartoons. He was in a lot of movies. He did quite a few shows as well. And his family wrote this post on Twitter. We are heartbroken to announce the passing of our beloved Gilbert Godfrey after a long illness. In addition to being the most iconic voice in comedy, Gilbert was a wonderful husband, a brother, friend, and father to his 2 young children. Although it is a sad day for all of us, please keep laughing as loud as possible in Gilbert's honor. That's actually really nice.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Remember, and I don't know if you do remember. I mean, I don't, obviously, because it was like in the early 80s. But Saturday Night Live, he was on one season of Saturday Night Live from 1980 to 1981. So I was not in the habit of watching Saturday Night Live when I was little, so I don't remember that. But if you do, and he's just been in so many things. Also on the voice of certain roles on Family Guy, Celebrity Wife Swap, etc. So you will be missed, Gilbert Godfrey. Laugh well.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about a little bit more in entertainment. Remember I told you last week that Kanye has bailed on Coachella?
Yep.
Well, they got the weekend. And not only did they get the weekend, they got an iconic EDM, electronic dance music group, Swedish House Mafia, who broke up, but now they're back together. So this is going to be an iconic performance because I'm sure people have been waiting for them to get back together, and they are joining the weekend on stage. So that's going to be actually epic because although Kanye probably would have given a show, this is epic because now you've got a group that people have been wanting to get back together, and they're back together. And there are a lot of fans of EDM. What was it? 2 weeks ago was the Ultra Music Festival here in Miami. Packed. Can I say packed? Packed. People love electronic dance music, especially like here in places like Miami, etc., wherever there's an international crowd. So it's huge. So that's going to be a draw. And then, of course, the weekend. So fear not for Coachella. They were able to secure the weekend plus Swedish House Mafia. So good for them.
Good.
Absolutely. They said, take this, Kanye.
Although they knew it wasn't going to happen in the first place, they knew.
They knew. You're just very lucky this all worked out for good because it could have gone south. And you knew at the beginning. You should have just booked the weekend at the beginning. I don't know why you were playing. Right?
It could have gone another way.
Exactly. But I guess things happen when they're supposed to happen.
So when is Coachella happening?
Coachella is it next week? Don't get me to lying.
I'm going to look it up.
Or is it this? Oh, wait, no. It's this week. It's supposed to be this week and next week because I think it's over 2 weekends. So I think it's over 2 weekends, and I know the 24th is one. So is the 24th next week?
And the 15th. It says April 15th through the 24th.
It
So
starts
it's
today.
this weekend and it's next weekend. So if you all are interested in watching Coachella, usually Coachella has 4 live streaming channels on YouTube that show all the different stages, so you can watch the performances. And I actually do like watching Coachella. It's actually also a cool way to find out about new acts that you may not be as familiar with, because I found a ton of new music the year that because they haven't had Coachella for like the past 2 years, but the year that Beyonce was there and did the homecoming performance.
Yes.
So of course I got up at, you would be surprised. I'm like, oh, she's coming on at it was like 1 o'clock or something like that. I got right up and watched the whole thing, and it was fantastic. So there were a lot of different artists on these different stages that I didn't know anything about. So it's a good way to discover new music.
Right, because I'm looking at because I went to Coachella.com lineup, and the lineup for this weekend is the 15th through it's a lot of people. April sort by it's the lineup. Maybe these are all the people. I'm gonna sort by day. Okay. So like they have certain people. Wow, there are a lot of people. No wonder this thing is 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah, it's and there's a lot of there is quite a bit of excitement because Coachella has not taken place for the past 2 years, and so all these little Gen Z and maybe a little bit of the lower end of millennials, they're getting older now. They're all ready to go out to the desert with their festival hats and festival clothing that they bought at Francesca, and to be out in the middle of the desert. Good for you, I say. Not I, said the cat.
Right. Harry Styles is the only name that I recognize for April 15th. Because I'm like, okay, I don't. Oh, and Carly Rae Jepsen, I recognize her name.
Is Billie Eilish this weekend or next weekend?
Let me check because I do not see her on the 15th. Let me see if she's on the 16th. Because they got shows 15th, 16th, 17th, and I'm like, wow.
Why did it's interesting that they did it Easter weekend.
Right. And okay. So they're gonna be like, Mom, I gotta go to Coachella. And what do you mean? Okay. And let's see if she's on Sunday. This Sunday. I do not see her. She probably is on the next weekend, maybe.
Okay.
Oh, the weekend. The weekend and Sweetest House Mafia are going to be on the 17th, though.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be on twice, on the 17th and the 24th.
Okay, so they're doing two.
Yeah, because Kanye was supposed to perform twice, so they're taking Kanye's spot.
Right.
Billie Eilish is
Billie Eilish.
She is on Saturday the 16th and the 23rd. See that?
Okay, so she's because she is a headliner, so she would be 2 weekends. Yeah, that makes sense. Kudos and fun to everybody who's going out there. It definitely is like, remember how we were talking, like, it's a road trip type thing or once in a lifetime thing, or, that you go out there. That's the thing you do when you're young. But I'm not, as they like to say here, finna stand out in the desert.
In the heat.
Potties. No.
In the heat, in a California desert ain't no joke. I'm just gonna say it.
California desert is not a joke. There's no shelter. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, good for you. I'm glad it worked out for Coachella, even though they could have avoided this all along when he threatened to pull out. But they worked out. So good for them. Okay, let's keep going. Let's talk Netflix. So I talked about on Wednesday the fact that Netflix's Russian subscribers have sued them over halted service.
What?
Yes. So apparently, Netflix subscribers in Russia are suing the streaming service for suspending local service because of the country's invasion of neighboring Ukraine.
Oh. Okay. Wow.
Russian productions. So, for example, detective drama Zato last month, because remember, that was the time that a whole lot of Western businesses were withdrawing from Russia. Yeah. So, this withdrawal has led the law firm of Chernyshov, Lukoyanov, and Partners to launch a class action suit against them in the District Court of Moscow on behalf of all the subscribers, according to local news agency RIA and Deadline Hollywood. So the firm said this in a statement. The reason for the lawsuit was a violation of Russian users' rights due to Netflix's unilateral refusal to provide services in Russia. So what are the terms? They're trying to get 16 million rubles or $724,000 in compensation.
Oh, girl.
Look,
pay him to go away. Okay.
No, I wouldn't be paying him to go away either. Look, so you don't care that the people of Ukraine was invaded. You care that you don't have Netflix.
Exactly.
That's exactly the point I made on Wednesday. that don't you have bigger fish to fry or borscht to prepare rather than worry about this? Your country has invaded and has attacked another country, so you, in a sense, are there's a war going on.
Yes.
Netflix, for lack of service. Now, let me talk a little bit about it. So Netflix has less than 1 million local subscribers there, and they only operated as a local language service for less than 1 year. So they've only been over there for less than 1 year.
Oh,
so
okay.
Netflix refused to comply with the law that dictated that it had to carry 20 Russian free-to-air channels like Channel 1, as concerns grew around the military invasion of Ukraine. And I can understand that, because I'm sure they didn't want to be the propagators of propaganda.
Right.
So they refused. So that's what's happening thus far. We don't know what I'm like. Why are you even bothered with this? First of all, what kind of cockamamie law firm takes on something like that in a time of war? What?
Because I from what I've been seeing on Twitter and other things, they really feel that they are entitled to be trying to take over Ukraine. I was like, what? What is with? Not everyone.
There are some.
But there are some, apparently, those who watch Netflix and who want to sue.
Exactly. And so, but you know what? Even if they feel they're entitled, it's wartime. This is not, and you know what? The thing is, they operate at the pleasure of the country, definitely, but they're also a private company and can decide at any point that they can pull out or close. I'm sure there is no agreement that says you can be here, but you must be here for 20 years. They could decide tomorrow, you know what? We're not servicing this anymore. So can you sue a private company because of that?
I don't think so, because then can we sue because they raised the rates?
Exactly, because I'm ready to get the law firm of, who are they again? Chernyshov, Lukonanov, and partners, if that's the case. So, no. All right.
Go ahead.
Can you force a private company to propagate your propaganda?
No.
Especially when they're not a Russian company.
Exactly. They're not run by the state. Yeah. Okay.
So the thing is too that you either, when it comes to that though, it's like you either abide by the rules or you don't have to be there. So honestly, I'm sure you saw that as a market that you wanted to spread into to provide a service to Russians. But if it's going to be more of a headache, like I would not pay this, even though it's only $725,000. That's a drop in the bucket for Netflix. I wouldn't pay it because it sends a message that that anybody can sue any Western company for anything there, and they will get the money back. I wouldn't give them a damn dime. So
especially, aren't there sanctions and stuff? It's like, no, we're not paying you.
There are sanctions going on.
Now, I don't know to what extent the sanctions have gone. I don't remember everything, or if we've even gone to the full extent of sanctions. I know some of the European countries have. I don't know if we have. So definitely, if depending on what the terms are, Netflix will be included in that. So too bad, so sad for you. Speaking of TV, let's talk about a rebranding. You guys know about
IBTV? Yeah, say that again.
I have that.
Yes.
So IMDb, for those who didn't know, stands for International Movie Database. So it is a database of movies and TV shows and actors that is kind of like the gold standard for actors looking for things or people looking up things. Well, we use it all the time. And I actually have an IMDb credit. One sad, lonely IMDb credit, but I do have it.
Oh.
So you can look me up and you will find me on IMDb.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. So it's for voiceover for an audiobook I did.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So they've rebranded as Amazon Freevee. Now, I bet you didn't know that IMDb TV is owned by Amazon.
Did
I
not.
did not know that till I read the article, Dr. Touch.
Yes, yes, now you do. And so, in order to keep their assets the same across the board, they're rebranding, and now they are Amazon Freevee. Now, it took me a minute to say, because I was like, Freevee, what the hell is that? But then I said, oh, Freevee, like free TV, so Freevee. But it took me too long to get it. I don't think I'm the daftest person in the world, so maybe others are in that same boat. But Amazon Freevee, they are launching ads, and if you don't know IMDb TV, which on the 27th will become Amazon Freevee, it is ad-supported video on demand streaming service. And excuse me, this rebranding has actually been in the works for a while. It's not new. Yeah, so it's been in the works for a while. And again, I kind of have to agree with this because it's the same thing as having your having social media handles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before, maybe you started all your different social media at different times and you use different names for them. But now you really are using them for business, or you are becoming a personality, and you want for people to find you under one name. So you start rebranding yourself, going to Twitter and say, all right, let me change this. Going to Facebook and saying, okay, let me change this, so that it can be under, so people can find you in one place with one word. So I think, or two words, whatever. So I think this is kind of the same thing. In a sense, it feels like the same thing.
So I have a question. Is the IMDb database still staying the same, or?
Yes,
okay.
It's still the same. There's two different things. That has nothing to do, because here, if you think about it, IMDb, that database is really industry driven.
Okay.
People in the industry know IMDb. So to change that wouldn't make any sense. They're two separate things. So, but only industry people really use IMDb to look up things. The average person wouldn't know it. So IMDb TV didn't really make any sense anyway, because they're like, what the hell is this?
Right.
IMDb TV. And that's what to say.
Right.
Say it with me.
IMDb. What? Okay. Yeah, that's a tongue twister.
XYZ NAACP. It's too much. So the best thing for them to do was to have rebranded it this way, because to put Amazon in front of IMDb TV, that would have been very cumbersome. So I think that this rebrand is good. And actually, they debuted 2 years ago, and over the last 2 years, they've tripled their monthly active users, and that's fueled by their increased distribution and also a foray into originals. Everybody's into originals. And here's the thing. They launched in the UK last September, and they're continuing their international expansion because they're going to launch in Germany later this year. Yes. So they're also planning to grow their original slate by 70% this year. That's a lot. Yes.
I have my opinions about everybody doing their originals, but okay.
Oh, well, okay. There's already been, I have my opinions about too many streamers. There's already been people, this cognitive dissonance, because now there's too much choice.
Yep.
That's what worked about cable initially. Even though there were channels on there, they were all housed under one thing. Now what happens is all these streamers are housed in different places, and they're not free. You have to pay for each one of them. So they're going to have to reckon with themselves. How do we organize ourselves? Do we organize ourselves? But the moment you organize yourself, you start to mimic cable again, which we were all trying to get away from.
Right.
So, we had this talk yesterday, Fran.
Yeah, the on demand. I would like everything on demand. I don't want to have to be, it's 7 o'clock and I need to go sit at a particular time. So the cable wasn't working because sometimes they only going to give you few items on demand, and the rest of them you have to be parked.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then the on-demand people have so many things on demand, or the different, like Dr. Tachi just said, there's so many different original programmings, and everybody has their own come to my house or come to my house or no, come over to my house. I'm like, no, I'm not going to none of y'all.
Yes, yes. I think I like live TV. I like on demand, definitely, but there's something about live TV. I don't know what it is. It feels like it's happening now and it's current. So that's why I like live TV. I like live streamed things, but I also do like on demand. So I like to have the choice of both.
Right.
I'm very scared of what's going to happen in this streaming landscape within the next year or two.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody's prices are inching up.
But you know what? You know what happened with, what was it, Etsy, where the providers, the people who make the items, went on strike because they raised the transaction fees. We could really fast some of this stuff and and put the pressure on these guys to get it together.
Right.
The viewers could bring pressure.
The difference with Etsy is that that's almost tantamount to, those are the actual creators on that platform,
right?
And these are affecting them, whereas we are customers or consumers, and we're viewed differently. Because here's the thing, I mean, you need both, but Etsy, if they go on strike and they don't have anybody to sell things, they have no platform.
Correct.
So creators can, and the creators have other choices of platform. They can take their handmade things too. Etsy is just large, but you can also sell on Poshmark. You can also sell on Depop. You could sell on Depop. You could sell on a lot of different places. Even eBay, if you're savvy enough with eBay. So they realize they're not the only game in town. So yeah, they had to acquiesce, because at this point you're just being greedy. You have a lot of makers, you have a lot of people, you're paying per month to be on the platform, or a certain percentage. So why would you then need to raise things? Because you're already making buku money. You're already making a lot. Don't talk to me about gas or any of those things, because we have to like, if you're on Etsy, you ship it out. They're not doing anything.
Right.
So whatever. That's greed. I have one last story for you.
Okay.
The Simpsons. Okay, so Simpsons has introduced their first deaf voice actor, and they use sign language. So this is the interesting thing, and The Simpsons is still fascinating viewers. This time with the first ever deaf actors and the use of American Sign Language. Fox premiered this episode, and it was unprecedented up here, according to Design Taxi, called The Sound of Bleeding Gums, and this was like last Sunday, I believe. And so the writer, Lonnie Steele Saucepan, drew from personal experiences to work on the script for that. So let me talk about the episode. It follows Lisa Simpson, the daughter, who hears a song by the late saxophonist Bleeding Gums Murphy. If you are a Simpsons person, you will remember all these characters. And 27 seasons ago, Bleeding Gums Murphy died, actually. So this show has been on for a long time. So it showed him being appropriated in a lottery commercial with new lyrics. She's upset and tracks down the home of Murphy's son, Monk, and has a meaningful chat with him. But it's only later that she discovers that Monk is deaf and that he wants a cochlear implant. So this is interesting. She says, this whole time we were talking to you, you seem to hear everything, to which the musician's son clarifies, I read lips. So this Monk is voiced by actor John Autry, who is also deaf. He was cast for the episode after working with Saucepan and her brother Eli Steele in a pilot about their lives. So, as I said, Saucepan is the writer, and it draws from her own experiences growing up. She comes from a mixed-race, jazz-loving family, and her brother was born deaf. So I think this is really interesting and about damn time. I don't understand why we're still making first in 2022. This is just, it's ridiculous. And, we can't say, oh, well, nobody ever, I'm sure many people ever really tried. And this is also groundbreaking because if we remember, but beyond the Oscar slap, there were some other things that happened. What was the name of the movie that won the best film for the Oscars?
Was it Coda?
Yes. So Coda is about hearing impaired individuals, right? And so this was really, it was a first because the actor who played the main actor, I believe, and don't get me wrong, don't get me the line, but I believe he won. Did he win Best Actor? No, he didn't win Best Actor. He got Best Supporting Actor, I think. And so this was the first time a deaf person had won Best Supporting Actor.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yes, Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture win. Thank you, Kevin. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and hey, Kevin, and hey, Cecily.
Yes. So Coda, and I did not know what Coda meant. Coda is children of deaf adults. And
interesting.
Right. And that was the premise of the movie. It's on Apple TV. I probably need to go watch it. About the girl, she wants to play music and sing and do things. Her parents are deaf, and they don't understand why she doesn't want to stick around the house and be, the help that she's supposed to be.
Interesting. Wow. And I don't have Apple TV Plus, so yeah, it'll probably be a long month of Sundays before I get to see it. But so I said that to say that this seems to be I hate to say trend. When things are supposed to be, I hate that it's a trend, but that's what Hollywood does.
Right.
Things are hot. Like black is the new black, deaf is the new black, that type of thing.
Right.
So, and I hate that, but this appears to be what's happening. So, and that is what I have for you today in Media News.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Facebook user says it was a great movie. And I'm looking here at the description. It says Ruby's the only hearing member of a deaf family from Massachusetts. At 17, she works mornings before school to help her parents and her brother keep the fishing business afloat. But in joining her high school's choir club, Ruby finds herself drawn to both her duet partner and her latent passion for singing.
Is that based on a true story?
It doesn't say if it's based on a true story, but that would make sense.
I wonder if it is. It feels like it's based off of an amalgamation of experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Adapted from the Baylor family. Okay. Doesn't say if it's a true story.
Interesting. But it is a good story. Considering all of the things that are out there, because I don't know about anybody else. Beverly says I watched before her Apple TV ended. I was looking.
Whoa.
I was looking at Netflix trying to find out something to watch. I'm like, why do I have this? There is nothing over there that I wanted to see. You know what I mean? Because in all of their original programming, I couldn't find anything. And I was like, you know what? I need to take stock of a bunch of subscriptions that I have and decide whether I need to keep them or keep them for a limited time.
Oh, absolutely. That money could be bringing you joy in other ways.
Because I was like, I'm not watching this. There was literally nothing I wanted to see over there. I was like, okay. And then there's Peacock, and then there's Apple, and then there's Roku, and then there's this person and that. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Too many choices, as Dr. Tachi has told us today.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's going behind the paywall. It's a bit much.
So we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in live, and those who are coming in on the replay for today. It's been a pleasure to be here with you all. We will be back on Monday with some, insightful
Coffee, tea,
conversations.
thoughts, and conversations.
Yes, coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations, really insightful conversations. And we invite you to join us again. And if you'd like to become a part of the Biz Chicks community, please do so. You can go to bizchicks.net, sign up, and put your profile up there so that we can follow you and find you, so that we can connect with you and be able to recommend you. And because we really want people, and we need people we trust in a community to refer to other people. And we will, you've got genius to share with other people, and it shouldn't just, we shouldn't have to go digging for some help when we need it. So please join. You can be a biz dude, biz chick, we don't mind. Equal opportunity. So you can go to bizchicks.net and put in your profile so that we can find you. Tell us about what it is that you do. Thank you so much for subscribing on our YouTube channel, and everybody watching we got people watching on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Any final comments from Clubhouse? Oh, I got some comments over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was Kevin. He was talking about there's currently a deal for the free months of Apple TV under your offers on the Target Circle app.
Oh,
thank you, Kevin. So then you can go see that movie.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Jill says thank you.
Right. And then I watched Severance. At first, I wasn't going to watch it because it was really weird and creepy. But if you're a sci-fi fan, it was really interesting.
Okay.
It was good, kind of weird, and then I'm like, dang it! Now they suck you back in for the second season. I was like, come on, just tell a story and get it over with. I don't too much like series. I like people get to the end of the stories, and I'm cool. But that's not what they did.
Okay, so Jill in Breathing Spaces, thank you, everybody. She wants to thank you all. Thank you, Jill, for tuning in today.
And thank you, everybody.
Beverly
has dark mode now. Just
yes,
so you
it does.
know.
And they said you can control it in your settings.
Oh. And then they have a game. Okay.
Yeah, they got a new game feature over on Clubhouse.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting. All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Same place, same time, 8 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. On the East Coast.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yes. Thank you. And we will look forward to seeing you again real soon. Terry, take it away.
We want to remind you that we do have a workshop coming up. We'll be talking to you about that soon. And in the meantime, remember, it's okay to be successful in your business. Go to the front of your own line. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.